All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something a little different.
Yeah.
A world where Hogwarts has taken a bit of a dark turn. We're
Oh,
looking at a chapter from a fan fiction story
okay.
called The Clockwork Heart.
Interesting.
It reimagines Luna Lovegood and Neville Longbottom's lives after the war
Okay.
in a way that's both fascinating and a bit unsettling.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about this chapter is how it plays with our expectations of these characters.
Yep.
For those who maybe haven't read the books or seen the movies in a while, Luna Lovegood is known for her quirky, whimsical nature.
Right.
And Neville Longbottom is, the brave, loyal Gryffindor who
Yeah.
blossomed during the fight against Voldemort.
Right.
But in this story, their paths take a very different turn.
Yeah, the story really sets the stage with Hogwarts still reeling from the war. There's this palpable sense of anxiety,
Right.
a darkness that's lingering in the castle's very stones.
Yeah.
And against this backdrop, Luna undergoes this strange transformation.
I was going to say Luna's character undergoes a really fascinating shift.
Yeah.
It's like her fascination with unusual creatures takes a darker turn.
Yeah.
She becomes fixated on clockwork mechanisms. Her room is described as being filled with ticking gears, whirring springs, and these disturbingly lifelike automatons.
It's interesting. It's like she's trying to impose a mechanical order on a world that's still grappling with chaos.
Right. And, it makes you wonder if there's a connection between Luna's wartime experiences
Yeah.
and this newfound obsession.
Right. The chapter mentions how Luna witnessed things that would shake even the most hardened ore.
Yeah.
So could this trauma be fueling her desire to create a world devoid of unpredictable emotions?
That's a really fascinating observation. The author doesn't explicitly state it,
Right.
but there's definitely a sense that Luna is seeking control as a way to cope with the pain and uncertainty that she's experiencing.
For sure, for sure. And then you have Neville. He's initially concerned by Luna's shift, but he's drawn to her intricate creations and the intensity in her eyes. It's like he sees something both beautiful and tragic in her pursuit of this clockwork world.
Yeah, there's a sense of both captivation and concern from Neville, which I think speaks to the complex dynamic between them,
Yeah.
the way they've always understood and appreciated each other's unique perspectives.
Yeah, and it's not just Luna and Neville who are affected. Strange occurrences start to plague Hogwarts.
Oh.
Objects move inexplicably. There are whispers echoing in empty corridors, and this constant unsettling melody, like 1,000 ticking clocks, fills the air.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the author uses these subtle details to build a sense of dread and foreshadow the unsettling events to come.
Right.
Even the ghosts, usually indifferent to the affairs of the living, become agitated and uneasy.
Yeah, and then there's this pivotal scene in a room of requirement. Neville stumbles upon Luna working on a life-size automaton with these eerily realistic features. She calls it Celestia.
And the choice of name is interesting, too. Celestia evokes a sense of celestial beauty,
Right.
heavenly perfection.
Yes.
But the automaton itself is strangely blank. Its features are flawless,
Right.
but devoid of any emotion.
Yes, and the way Luna says, it needs a heart, a clockwork heart, sends shivers down your spine.
Absolutely. That line is key to understanding Luna's vision.
Right.
It suggests she seeks to replace the human heart with all its messy emotions, with the cold, precise rhythm of a machine.
So what's your take on the symbolism of the clockwork heart? What do you think the author is trying to convey through this recurring image?
I think it represents Luna's yearning for control and predictability. She's experienced the devastating consequences of unchecked emotions, both in the war and likely in her personal life as well.
Yeah.
So perhaps she sees the Clockwork Heart as a way to create a world where such suffering is impossible.
Okay, so Celestia is eventually completed, and she's unsettlingly graceful. There's a beauty to her movements, but her expression remains eerily blank. And as Celestia begins to move about Hogwarts, accidents start to happen around her.
It is interesting how the author subtly links Celestia's presence
Yeah.
to these unsettling events.
Yeah.
A student falls down a staircase. A bookshelf nearly topples over onto a group of students. It's as if Celestia disrupts the natural flow of things,
Right.
bringing chaos rather than the order that Luna intended.
Neville tries to talk to Luna to express his concern, but she dismisses his worries, claiming that Celestia is a gift bringing order to chaos. But her own demeanor is changing. She's becoming more distant, her words increasingly cryptic.
Yeah, her transformation is subtle but unsettling. It's as if she's becoming more machine-like herself,
Right.
losing her warmth and empathy in this pursuit of perfect order.
Right.
And what's especially chilling is how she seems oblivious to the growing darkness surrounding Celestia's presence.
And then comes the scene that really sent chills down my spine. Neville wakes up in the middle of the night to find Celestia standing at the foot of his bed,
Oh, wow.
staring at him with those empty eyes. He tries to scream, but no sound comes out.
That's terrifying.
It is.
It's a brilliant way to raise the stakes and draw the reader deeper into this unsettling world.
Right, and Neville's no longer simply an observer. He's now directly targeted by Luna's creation.
Right.
And Celestia touches Neville's cheek with a cold, metallic hand. And he feels this jolt, this coldness seeping into his bones.
Yeah.
It's as if something within him is changing, becoming mechanical.
And that's precisely the horror of it. This scene foreshadows Neville's own transformation, his forced assimilation into Luna's clockwork vision.
Yeah.
And it raises the question, can he resist this chilling influence? Or will he, too, become a puppet to Luna's grand design?
And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore Neville's chilling transformation and uncover Luna's true motivations.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Okay, so we left off with Neville experiencing this chilling encounter with Celestia
Yeah.
and feeling this unsettling change within himself. This isn't just a creepy story anymore. It feels like we're watching Neville's very humanity being threatened.
It's a brilliant move by the author. By shifting the focus to Neville's internal struggle, the story takes on a whole new level of psychological depth.
Right.
We're not just witnessing the events unfold, we're feeling them through Neville's increasingly detached perspective.
And the change in Neville is gradual,
Yeah.
but terrifying.
Yeah.
He becomes withdrawn, his emotions are muted, his movements are stiff and mechanical. It's as if he's turning into one of Luna's automatons.
What's really disturbing is how Neville's transformation plays into his pre-existing insecurities.
Yeah.
He's always struggled with self-doubt, with feeling inadequate compared to his more naturally gifted peers.
Right.
Luna's influence preys on these vulnerabilities, twisting his desire for strength and control into something sinister.
And then we get this scene where Neville finds himself compelled to obey Luna's every command, his own will seemingly dissolving.
Oh, wow.
He even helps her with creating more automatons, each one a chilling reflection of Luna's distorted vision.
Huh. That raises a question about the nature of free will.
Yeah.
Is Neville truly being controlled by Luna and Celestia? Or is there a part of him that's choosing to surrender, to embrace this newfound sense of order and purpose?
That's a really interesting point. It makes me think about how easy it can be to give up our autonomy, especially when we're feeling lost or vulnerable. But it's clear that Neville is deeply conflicted. Even as he becomes more mechanical, there are these flickers of his old self, moments of resistance that hint at the battle raging within him.
Exactly. The author doesn't portray Neville as a passive victim.
Right.
Even as he succumbs to Luna's influence, there's a part of him that recognizes the horror of what's happening, that yearns to break free.
And then comes the revelation of Luna's ultimate goal. It's not just about creating automatons. She's striving to eliminate emotions altogether, to replace them with the cold, precise logic of clockwork.
It's a chilling reflection on the dangers of seeking absolute control. Luna believes that emotions are the root of all suffering.
Right.
But in trying to eradicate them, she's essentially erasing what makes us human, our capacity for empathy, compassion, and love.
What's so disturbing is that Luna's intentions are, in a twisted way, good. She's witnessed the horrors of war, the pain and loss caused by unchecked emotions. But her solution is terrifyingly misguided.
The story doesn't shy away from exploring the seductive allure of Luna's vision.
Right.
In a world that's still reeling from conflict, the idea of a perfectly ordered society, free from the chaos of human emotions, can seem strangely appealing.
Yeah, it makes you think about how easily good intentions can pave the road to hell. Luna's desire to eliminate suffering is understandable, but her methods are horrifying.
And the setting of Hogwarts, a place typically associated with growth and learning, becomes a chilling backdrop for this dystopian transformation.
Right.
It highlights how insidious such ideologies can be, how they can twist even the most well-intentioned individuals into agents of oppression.
But even as Neville falls deeper under Luna's control, there's a part of him that's fighting back. He observes the automatons, studying their movements, searching for a weakness. And he discovers it a small gear in their chests. that seems to regulate their emotions.
It's a crucial turning point. This discovery gives Neville a glimmer of hope, a way to potentially disrupt Luna's control and reclaim his own humanity.
And it's fascinating how the author uses this control gear as a metaphor for the suppression of emotions.
Rah.
It suggests that even in a seemingly emotionless automaton, there's a potential for feeling, for breaking free from the confines of mechanical programming.
It also raises questions about the nature of consciousness. If even automatons possess a mechanism for controlling emotions, does that imply a level of sentience? A capacity for suffering that Luna has failed to consider?
And it makes you wonder, what would happen if those emotions were allowed to surface? Would it be chaos, as Luna fears? Or could it be something more complex, something beautiful and human?
The story doesn't provide easy answers, which is what makes it so compelling.
Right.
It leaves us grappling with these questions, challenging our own assumptions about the nature of emotions and the delicate balance between control and freedom.
But for Neville, this discovery is a catalyst for action. He realizes that disrupting this gear could be the key to freeing himself and stopping Luna. But can he overcome the clockwork influence that's taken root within him?
That's the central tension that drives the story toward its climax. We're left wondering if Neville can muster the strength to break free from this chilling control and reclaim his humanity.
And that's where we'll leave it for now. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll witness the thrilling conclusion to this dark and thought-provoking chapter, exploring the consequences of Luna's actions and the lasting impact of the Clockwork Heart.
Yeah, wait.
Okay, so we're back, and we left off with Neville discovering the automaton's weakness.
Right, that little gear.
Yeah, the little gear that controls their emotions. It felt like a small glimmer of hope in what felt like a very bleak situation.
Yeah, it's like the classic underdog scenario. Neville even under Luna's influence.
Yeah.
Finding a way to fight back against this seemingly insurmountable force.
Yeah.
It makes you want to root for him. You want to see his individual will triumph over this oppressive control.
And the tension really ramps up
Yeah.
as Neville starts formulating his plan. You know, he has to confront Luna. But he's still struggling with that clockwork influence within him. It's a race against time, a battle for his very soul.
The author doesn't make it easy for him either. You can really feel Neville's internal struggle. He experiences those moments of clarity, but then it's followed by these waves of cold mechanical detachment. It's like a constant push and pull between his desire for freedom and the allure of order and control.
It's like he's caught between two worlds, the warmth and chaos of human emotion
Yeah,
versus the cold, calculated precision of Luna's clockwork vision.
absolutely. And the way the author describes Neville's internal state is incredibly effective. You can hear those whirring gears in his mind, feel the coldness spreading through his limbs.
It's scary.
It's a visceral portrayal of his struggle to reclaim his humanity.
And then we have the confrontation with Luna. It's tense,
Yeah.
filled with this quiet intensity. Neville tries to reason with her, to make her see the darkness that's consuming her.
It's a real clash of ideologies. Even in his altered state, Neville recognizes the importance of emotions,
Yeah.
the beauty in their complexity. But Luna, driven by her own trauma, she's clinging to the belief that order and control are the only paths to peace.
But Luna's too far gone. She's convinced she's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That she's saving everyone from the pain and suffering that emotions inevitably bring.
Her conviction is chilling, but also tragic. It highlights the danger of clinging to rigid ideologies,
Yeah.
refusing to acknowledge the nuances and the complexities of the human experience.
Neville realizes that words aren't going to be enough. He has to stop Celestia, to break the hold she has over him and the other students. So, in a moment of desperate courage, he lunges towards the automaton, reaching for that gear in her chest.
It's like you're right there with him, holding your breath, wondering if he can break free from that control that's been imposed upon him.
He manages to reach the gear, his fingers fumbling with the cold metal. But Celestia reacts. Her movements suddenly jerky and erratic.
It's like disrupting the gear triggers a malfunction,
Yeah.
a surge of chaotic energy within the automaton.
Right, and then with this chilling metallic scream, Celestia collapses. Her body, once so graceful, becomes a lifeless heap of gears and springs.
It's a powerful moment. That scream defies the automaton's emotionless facade.
Yeah.
It's like a testament to the raw power of feeling that Luna tried so desperately to suppress.
And the effect is immediate. That constant ticking that had permeated Hogwarts, it disappears.
Yeah.
The other students who had been moving with that strange mechanical stiffness, they seem to awaken, their faces are filled with confusion. and a flicker of returning emotion.
Wow, it's a powerful image of liberation. The breaking of Celestia's control symbolizes the release of suppressed emotions, the return of individual will.
Luna, her control shattered. She's left surrounded by the wreckage of her creations. The chapter ends with her alone, whispering to her broken automatons, her voice a mix of grief and a chilling detachment.
It's haunting. You know the immediate threat is gone, but the scars remain.
Yeah.
Luna's actions have left a lasting impact on Hogwarts. It's a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the seductive allure of control.
So we've come to the end of our deep dive into the Clockwork Heart. We really hope you found it as fascinating and thought-provoking as we did. This story really makes you think about the complexities of human nature, the fine line between order and chaos, and the seductive nature of control.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale that I think resonates with our own anxieties about the increasing role of technology in our lives, the potential for our own emotions and autonomy to be manipulated or suppressed.
Right.
It reminds us to be vigilant, to question the systems that seek to control us, and to cherish the very things that make us human, our emotions, our individuality, our capacity for connection and empathy.
That's a great point. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never underestimate the power of your own unique beating heart.